Today we're going to be looking at weather map, specifically symbols on a weather map. I want you to take a look at this weather map and think about the different symbols that you see. What do you think those symbols mean? We're going to learn what each of those symbols mean. And when we see those symbols, we're going to be able to tell the kind of weather that is happening in that area. Let's take a look at your notes. We're going to start out by looking at high pressure. So this is in the top box of my page. Do you remember what the symbol is for high pressure? Yep, it is a blue H. So one thing that we need to know is what the characteristics of the air are in high pressure. If you remember when we talked about high pressure earlier, we said that high pressure has cold, sinking air. That air sinks because it's more dense. High pressure is also dry air. High pressure systems are going to move in a clockwise direction. So that would be like this. The weather that is associated with high pressure systems is dry conditions. Basically, that means that the weather is going to be fair and sunny. Go ahead and take your blue color, and I want you to circle the words dry and sunny. These are important terms to remember when thinking about high pressure. Another way to remember the kind of weather that happens at a high pressure system is that high pressure is happy weather. High pressure is happy. Happy weather is sunny weather. So high pressure is happy weather, which means it's going to be sunny. So every time you see a blue H on a weather map, you should know and recognize that the weather in that area is going to be sunny. Let's move on to the next box. Let's talk about low pressure. Do you remember the symbol and color of a low pressure? Excellent. It is a red L. We've already talked about some characteristics of air in a low pressure system. The air tends to be warm and rises. It rises because it is less dense. Low pressure air also is very moist. That means there's a lot of moisture in the air. The air is very wet. Think about when you walk outside on a really humid day. The air feels very wet. Low pressure systems are going to move counterclockwise. So that would be like this. Because low pressure systems have rising, warm, moist air, we are going to see the formation of storms at low pressure systems. So all of that rising, moist, warm air is going to start to condense and create clouds and then precipitation. So we tend to see a lot of storms surrounding low pressure areas. Grab your red color and I want you to circle the word moist and storms. Those are two terms that are really important to remember when looking at low pressure. Another way to remember low pressure is that low pressure is lousy weather. Do you know what lousy means? Lousy means not good. So lousy weather, can draw a little sad face, is stormy, rainy weather. So stormy, rainy weather. So low pressure is rainy weather and stormy weather. Anytime you see a red L on a weather map, I want you to think of stormy, rainy weather. Okay, you should have a little shape of Texas in front of you. We're going to be writing on this shape of Texas while writing in our notebook. You might want to place the little Texas in the left-hand corner of your notebook in this space to save room for it, because this is where you're going to glue it in. So you're making your notebook look just like the video you see. Let's talk about cold fronts. What do you think the symbol for a cold front would look like? If you said a line with blue triangles, you would be correct. I always remember that this is a symbol for a cold front because the triangles kind of remind me of icicles. So they're little icicles hanging down. Reminds me that it's cold. I'm also going to draw my cold front on my Texas here to show that a cold front is moving through Texas. Definitely something we need right now. In a cold front, cold air is going to be pushing toward warm air. So if I write that on my Texas, I would have cold air and warm air. The cold air is going to be pushing towards the warm air, and the warm air is going to start to rise up. Remember, when that warm air starts to rise up, it carries a lot of moisture, so it's going to start to condense. Cold fronts move in the direction of the triangles. So I want you to look at those triangles. Those triangles are going to point towards the area that the cold front is moving to. So we can always tell where the cold front is going by looking at the triangles and where they're pointing. So let's look at the cold front on our Texas. If you had to give a direction, like north, south, east, or west, what direction would you say the cold front in Texas is moving? If you said it's moving southeast, you would be correct. That cold front is moving southeast. Remember, we said that warm air, the cold air is pushing towards the warm air, but that warm air here starts to rise a little bit. That warm air starts to rise. That warm air rising is going to create clouds, and then it's going to start to create precipitation. So typically what we see with a cold front, the weather that's associated with the cold front, is that it is really stormy, then it's sunny. So on my Texas, I'm going to draw this. So what I usually see right along this line, that's our front boundary, so it's separating two air masses, I'm going to see really stormy weather. But behind the front, where that cold air is, I'm going to see pretty sunny skies. So after that front pulls through, it's going to feel a little cooler outside, and it's going to be sunny. So go ahead and take your blue color again, and I want you to circle stormy, then sunny. So you need to remember the symbol for a cold front, what it looks like, and that the weather is stormy, then sunny.